All right. According to this, we're live. So, we're soon going to find out. Welcome, live from the crossroads of America, to a talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. We'll answer questions from the audience. Just type them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasiseeit at gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Broadcasting using chambers.guntube.org. So if anybody wants to use this platform, that's where you go. At the end of the show, this audio file will be on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher, normally within 24 hours of the show ended. Plus, all the past chats I've ever done are on those platforms as well. If you want to go back to listen to some of the amazing stuff we have talked about, or some of the dumb stuff we've talked about, But if you like what you hear, give me the thumbs up and subscribe. Would it be appreciated? I have a Patreon account. All that's listed below there on YouTube. All the links for that and everything else. What I need to do here is separate my chat. Bring it over to the other window here. Pop out my chat. There we go. Go back to where I'm going. And bring that up. There it is. Who we got? Blind Shooter was the first in. Midnight Range is here. Oh, Blind Shooter, quit belly aching. He said, quit belly aching, Blind Shooter. There you go. 2 live moves here.
Who is that, Midnight?
Yeah. Kingpin says, Midnight, he is a New Yorker. He can't help it. And Midnight agrees with him. So there we go. All right, let me introduce my panel real quick before we get going. Up here in my left top corner is Blind Shooter. How you doing?
Doing good, Rick. By the way, you might have some technical issues because on YouTube, it's showing that your live show isn't starting until 6 p.m.
Yeah, I've noticed that even though it's showing correct my end, yes, that's been doing that for a couple of weeks now. I don't know why. I think it might be a way to get people not to watch us. You know what I'm saying? It's a conspiracy. I'll save it for next Thursday's chat. All right.
It's probably Midnight's fault.
It more than likely is. Then we got the one and only Patriot in the Dark. How you doing, buddy?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And I think the correct response to that, Blind Shooter, is go make me a turkey pot pie. Do you know what movie that came from? That'll be a quiz question later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think they used a couple different words in there, choice words. But
then we got the one and only Kingpin. How you doing?
What's up, Rick? Was that movie The Breakfast Club?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Oh, and by the way, thank you very much. I did get your mail call. I don't know if you saw it in the chat room the other day when you asked me, but I did get that, and that is very cool. I didn't know that's what you were going to send me, and that's absolutely super cool.
Yeah, there was actually an additional thing, but it was a different seller for that, and they were playing around, so that'll be the next thing you win or something. Because there's one thing that, but we'll bring that up later. Glad you like it.
Gun loving grandpa's joined the chat. So has John Brown Productions. And 2 Live Move got your correct answer to that movie too. He said Breakfast Club. Midnight Range is trying to upset me from the other night by mentioning a big greasy green bean casserole. Why do you always have to bring food into it? You know what I'm saying? But anyway. So, a couple of things in my title to my show. I put hell yes, we're going to take away your guns. And, the police. I mean, I know a lot of police are saying, I'm not going to. That's unconstitutional. I'm not going to do it. But
Some
if
say
they're
that.
threatened with being fired or they're going to lose their retirement that they worked so hard for and everything else, or it's an order. Are they going to fall? I think personally, I think more the way the way police forces, in my opinion, have been militarized. Is that the correct word I'm looking for? Is I think more will follow the orders they're given than refuse. I
Most
feel.
most of the police forces that are saying they're not going to comply are sheriffs, and you can't just fire a sheriff. The sheriffs are elected, so they have uh, a little bit more protection as far as quote unquote disobeying orders.
Yeah, I think the governor can remove them. I think that's about it.
Yeah, they're not totally out of, but they've got a whole lot more protection than just
Yeah, because the people voted them in.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's not like they can just be fired overnight.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Is so if so whoever comes pounding on your door, you know, I got a feeling that no, I don't know. But back to the thing. Of course, we've been saying it for years now. That's their overall plan, and of course, he said it out. He said it outright. What we're all thinking, and what all politicians are thinking on the Democratic side, and
That's
some of the
both
rhinos,
sides.
and some of the rhinos that they want to take our guns because they can't. They can't control us if we have weapons. You know, I don't think it would ever get to another shooting fight between us and the government. But as long as we have them, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? It's a chance they're going to have to take, and I don't think they're willing to take it.
A lot of them are actually pretty conceited. We joke around about the Swalwell guy saying we got nukes, and he was joking. The guy was making a joke. But the point that he was making is we have military might that you don't have. And a lot of the politicians think that with a quick snap of the fingers, a battalion of Marines are going to stomp down the middle of Main Street and snatch up everybody's guns.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they're expecting. You know, but I said the way things are going, is it possible that they could? You got a
You'd,
Democrat,
you'd have to cut.
Democratic governor.
You'd
He orders the militia, the state, or not the militia, the home. What do you call it?
National Guard.
National Guard to come and do it.
You'd have to take. I don't know what a battalion is. I've just heard that word before. But let's say there's 1,000 men in a battalion. You'd have to cut that number in half just to start speculating, because you know not every single person is going to be willing to go down Main Street and snatch up their brother's gun, go get their father, mother, Uncle Joe, Aunt Jenny's guns. Military people are regular citizens. They're American citizens with brothers and sisters and friends and family and coworkers and all kinds, just like everybody else. So they're not robots. It's not like just because they put on a uniform and the president says go mow down these civilians, they're going to do that.
Well, I think it also depends too on the rank and file. Your average private and sergeant, yeah, they're not going to go willingly knocking on the door saying, "Hey, John Smith, John Doe, give me your guns." But the top-ranking commanders who have time in and don't really give a damn what the privates feel are going to say, "Hey, you go, you do this now, or you're going to get reprimanded." And they don't want to go and get court-martialed.
Plus, New York's not Fallujah. destroying New York City, downtown Manhattan, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, Fargo, Bullfrog, North Dakota. All those cities have value to the government. Where a a building in Kabul, Afghanistan doesn't mean squat. So if somebody's in that building and they want to get rid of them, they don't mind calling in an airstrike to crush, 50,000 other buildings around.
See,
They're not going to just missile launch buildings in the United States.
because they don't have to. And I don't see it as being anything military. They'll pull out police a lot sooner than any military. And, when people throw that Civil War garbage around, we're already at that point. We're not the fighting and the guns and all that stuff. But if you don't see what's going on and look at how they're pushing things, I mean, I got a whole big rant about that, so I won't start it yet. I will wait. But there's before military would fire on civilians, I would probably guess that there would be others taking those spots just because it is orders and actually I will start that. Everybody out there that watches these things, we look at the people on these panels, right? We're all going the same direction, right? We have the same ideas as far as the Second Amendment, about liberty, about freedom, right? Everybody that's in the text chats, and you can go across any, countless channels, right? And all of us, we're pretty much, we think we're all going the same way. But, take a hard look at yourself and that person sitting next to you, the guy ahead of you in your grocery line, your doctors, your whatever, whoever you see on a daily basis, and question yourself, do you think they're actually going to do anything to protect your rights? Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of us that, will say that we will or whatever, but, actually think about it. And then at that same point, think about the people that we talk to on a daily basis that are, believe in red flag laws, that don't have an issue with, that sounds good. It's kind of bad the way they're going about it. Even people that we talk to, on a daily basis here on the internet, think about that, because, you deciding, hey, I just click this on, I'm just listening for a minute, and that, while I'm washing dishes or, whatever stuff you do. If that's all you're doing and you're just listening and kind of, nodding to some things and saying, oh, I don't believe that, to other things, you're not helping. You got to get out there and you got to do all those extra things. I mean, if you watched Budget's chat, talking about, don't be the guy just sitting there, actually go out and, whatever you're doing, that one thing, whatever, you could do multiple things. And because I know personally, right, being, totally blind, being on these chats, that there's people in our, groups here, right, that are pro Second Amendment, pro freedom, I have liberty, all this stuff, that would have no issue with people taking my rights because I am totally blind. I know that. It doesn't really bother me. It does infuriate me sometimes. But that whole idea that, we're all moving the same way and that's great, you got to take up that slack. I do not think that any of you are going to take up the slack for me. So I have to push myself to do those extra things. So anyway, I'll stop there before I go crazy. So, and besides, my desktop is locked up and I can't get to my list of things because I have a whole list of things, but it's taking its sweet time. So I'm on my phone and I'm trying to get this stupid computer to catch up.
Okay.
Sounds like Patriot might have to do a
Real
speaking.
quick before anybody jumps in there, we got Rob D, New York Outcast has joined us. Echo and the Bunnyman, Snob's wife, Patrick has all joined us, and there's some stuff going on in the chat here real quick. Echo and the Bunnyman says 70% of all law enforcement are conservative, along with 70% of the military is conservative as well, and they would simply use their might against the government. I don't know about that. Patrick says there will be cops and military personnel that would follow orders that they were told to take our guns. That's what I believe. Then, echoing the Bunny Man says, yeah, the regular military cannot be deployed on U.S. soil. There is an act that prevents it. It's only National Guard, and those are your neighbors, brothers, sisters, family. They're not going to turn on the people. I disagree. I think they will. If they were ordered to do it, they will do it. Not all of them, but some of them will.
And that depends on if they don't believe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of them out there that do believe that's a good thing. Red flag laws, hey, they're great. They're going about it the wrong way, but I think they're a good thing. We all have heard that.
I know it was back in the 1860s, but they turned on their brothers and sisters in the Civil War. So I don't see why they would. Really, we're an educated, we're a sophisticated society, but we are just a smidgen away from total anarchy. The only thing that keeps us together is that we're law abiding. We try to follow these rules that have been set down by people where we all get along. But that's the only thing holding us together from being a total savage.
One of the things. Go ahead, Blind Shooter.
Oh no, I was just going to say, if you look more recently, everyone says that the National Guard will or the National Guard won't take away your guns. Look back at Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans when they implemented the state of emergency. It's not well known and publicized, but they actually had the National Guard going around confiscating the guns of its citizens. So anyone who thinks it can happen, pull your head out of your ass, because it will.
One of the things that we also have to keep in mind is, and I'm glad you brought up the Civil War. This is 2019. This isn't, the 1800s, 1860s. The United States government still has to contend with foreign powers. So if they decide that they're going to just, hypothetically speaking, they're going to put out the entire might of the American military, 300,000 troops on U.S. soil, snatching up all our guns. What do you think the Russians are going to do? What do you think the North Koreans and the Chinese are going to do? What do you think ISIS and Al Qaeda is going to do? What do you think the Mexicans are going to do?
They're going to attack.
Well, and whether or not they come and actually try to attack us on mainland, you can debate that or not. But they're going to use that as pivotal power politically across the globe. Look, the United States is in an absolute shamble. You can't trust it. What's going to happen to the American dollar?
Oh, it's going to absolutely get crushed. It's going to be crushed. And as you said, Russia will start taking over countries again. China will start doing it. And since we're fighting each other here in the United States, we don't have the power to stop them from doing that.
But before that stuff happening, I just like to interject this little piece. With New Zealand, where they said, okay, we're doing the buyback, right? And how many of us have said, oh, will not comply, I'm going to bury them in the backyard, throw them in the lake, whatever, okay? That all aside, right? There's only 8% or something in New Zealand that actually turned them in, right? So now that they're going and they're saying, okay, now we're going to do a registry, okay? Well, there's no hard numbers on how many people did not turn them in, right? So they have hard numbers of the people that did turn them in, right? So now they put a registry. So all those firearms that are still out there are in attics, are in the root cellar, they're hidden, they're out of sight, out of mind, right? So my thing with this is way before there's a big fight in your kids, right? You got them maybe 4 hours a day at tops during the week. The rest of the time they're at public schools, right? So they're hearing that, firearms are bad. Okay, we did this and things are good because we took so many X amount of firearms off the street. We have hard numbers of what we got, right? They don't know how many are still out there. Well, that didn't work, so now we register them. Now we're going to confiscate them, and all these guns are hidden, and bad people are doing that. Okay, so first of all, you got kids that think either A, my parents are criminals, right? Because they're hiding them. I mean, the law says we got to turn them in. Why are they doing that? That they must be hiding something. They're bad guys, or they think their parents are Robin Hood or some kind of rebels or something, patriots that are doing that. But you think about how much time your kids are not there, right? And then as time goes on with these things, it's a long game where they can effectually eliminate firearms, right? They did that in England in 1900s, where they said, okay, you can't have this. Okay, to have this, you have to have a license. Oh, to get that license, you have to be a baron or a landowner. Oh, okay, and by the 90s, when they said, nah, nobody can have a firearm, a handgun, most people didn't stand up or say a cry because they didn't give a shit, because it wasn't in their, anything they dealt with. It was so far beyond them because they've been gone for so long. So that whole notion that, it's going to get to that point right now, bang, we're having a fight. It doesn't have to be that way, because they're weeding it out with the daily going ons at, your schools and TV and any damn movie you watch, things are bad. Oh, I dropped a pistol down the steps and I killed all the bad guys, and just all that kind of negativity is stacked on top of it. So I don't think it's going to get to that point where they're kicking in doors. They could basically annihilate, and within a generation, all firearms, because when you have them hoarded in your cellar and in your basement, in your attic, and behind the couch, wherever you got them hidden, right? When you die, what happens to those? Your kids are either going to keep them hidden so that you're not going out to the range to shoot. You're not taking them out unless you got a lot of property, and everybody doesn't have a suppressor, right? They did that with drugs. So you can hide drugs. You can go in your closet and do drugs. You can get doped up or tweaked out or whatever they call it now, right? And that's in your privacy of your home. You can't go in your closet and practice with your firearm. I mean, I guess you can, but you might have problems. It's not something that you can just hide and set away. So once they get it so that it's out of the eyes of everybody, the open carry isn't out there. People aren't going to a range, because why would there have to be ranges? Nobody can have a firearm, right? You're not practicing. You're not carrying the stuff around. It's out of the sight of the kids. Then their kids, because there's already kids right now that have never seen a real gun. They've seen them on TV or video games and stuff, right? So there's a long process way prior to anything going down, where it could be basically erasing firearms and the Second Amendment peacefully, as you could say. Maybe.
If Night Strike practiced in his closet, it'd probably help his accuracy out a whole lot.
It could.
Anyway, I just want to say,
and Rob, I did watch your video. That was great. If you're out there.
How you doing, Squib? He joins and he meets himself.
Well, what, do you want to hear the highway? You want to hear all the cars going by?
I was saying hi to you. And when you say hi to everybody else.
Tag you.
I was waiting for Patriot. I jumped in. Now, hold up. I jumped in the middle of what he was saying, but I knew exactly what he was talking about, and I agree with him on that. That they can pretty much change history, like they are throwing away all the monuments and not putting stuff in the history books and all this stuff. They can more or less change the mindset so that 2 or 3 generations from now, it's going to be like the people in England who look at them at a certain way. Yeah. And there will be, like in Australia, a bunch of stuff hidden somewhere. And when you die, if your children or grandchildren aren't of the same mindset, it'll get turned in and destroyed.
Well, this is what I was going to say. The way kids are taught today, anything going on, tell your teacher, tell a grown up, tell whatever, right? They're going to go to their teacher. My mom and dad have got guns locked away in the cupboard at home. The kids are going to turn you in.
Huh? I don't like to be gloom and doom and all that stuff, but when people throw all this stuff around and say they're going to go out and fight and all this kind of stuff, it drives me nuts, because it doesn't even have to get to that point to get that bad. And if you're just going to sit there and wait and roast your pancakes on the fire, as G says, that's on you, And so don't come knocking at my door. Well, knock at my door anyways, because I won't answer.
But you were talking about
Maybe
things
someday.
that have. You were talking about things that have already historically happened in other places, and using that as a comparison. And I don't think there are enough people out there that are aware of what has happened in other places and how it happened and how it's worked out and why they look at us like this in other countries. And then, of course, we're like, oh, well, I guess we need to get up to speed with the metric system or whatever. And I do believe that between the media, between movies and TV shows and politicians and the public school system and a whole bunch of stuff, that they can more or less change the values in this country and get rid of them that way. And the people who do say we need a revolution, we need a civil war, there's two things about it. One, I don't believe we're at that point. We could get to that point somewhere, but I don't think we're at that point. And two, most of these people are loudmouths. They wouldn't know what the first thing to do if they had to actually fight in combat. Or they're the ones that want to get everybody else stirred up so somebody else does it for them. Kind of like getting involved in the Second Amendment. They want somebody else to do it for them. So if I get real boisterous on my channel and get people stirred up, somebody else will go do it, and I can just sit here in the comfort of my basement and not do anything. You guys are a bunch of posers.
That's why they got like Patriot was mentioning. We all understand that this is a hypothetical situation, and it would take a serious collapse in society before they're doing mass raids on people's houses. We also have to take into consideration that as stupid as Robert Francis O'Rourke is, that guy's not an idiot. It's fun to make fun of him because he's so ridiculous. And same with AOC and Nancy Pelosi. These people understand that they're not going to stick it. Nancy Pelosi is not going to stick a gun in your face and take your stuff. She's going to sit down behind a $100,000 desk and sign her name to a piece of paper that takes your stuff legally.
Yep. Totally agree.
AKA red flag laws.
Yep.
The 50 cops raiding 50 houses isn't going to happen, but the 50 cops raiding one house happens all the time. Whether it's drug raid or they're going after felony warrants or whatever it is. SWAT teams raid cops' houses all day, every day, and one more SWAT team raid is not going to get noticed.
Absolutely.
And that whole thing about
not only is it not going to get noticed. Go ahead, Patriot.
I was just going to say, that was mentioned, 70% are conservative and stuff. It doesn't matter as a whole. All it takes is one. That guy in wherever, New Hampshire, wherever, it only took one cop, one bullet to kill him. And if you're sitting there thinking that, no, I know enough of them and they're good. I'm not one that talks bad about police. That's why we all listen to them. They've went through training. They've had stuff like that. The experience that they go through every day, that's something that's important. That's why we listen to them. That's why, we talk to them. When you're at the range and stuff and you're talking to the officer, I've got two that live right next door to me. I talk to them all the time, and that's great. But when they say something that's kind of, off color or something, you do have to take notice. You can't just, oh, well, they're on our side. They like guns and they go to the range, so they're okay. If they say that they're cool with red flag laws, I say call them out. And that goes for anybody. If you're cool with that stuff, you're not cool in my book. So good riddance.
Now, I will tell you something I saw in family court that I never thought I'd see. I was in family court waiting my turn to get blasted by the judge for something I didn't do. It's very one-sided and not very fair in family court for those of you who've never experienced it. And there is a cop, a police officer, not a sheriff, because the sheriffs are the ones that work the court building. Right across the street is a county jail, and the sheriffs are the bailiffs and security and whatnot, court building. So here is a local police officer. He is in full uniform. He has his sidearm. And I'm going, whoa, hold up. He don't work here. How did he get a pass, and he can wear his sidearm in here, but I can't bring a gun in here? This is bullcrap. That aside, I'm thinking he's a cop. The judge is going to be all buddy-buddy with him because, judges and cops and stuff like that. Oh, no. This judge treated him just as bad as he treated the rest of us. He was unfair with him, and he, didn't want to listen to him, and just really blasted him, and more the one-sided, lopsided crap that you get when you're a guy and you go to family court. And I said, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen a judge not side, because I've gone to traffic court. And if the cop shows up, you're never going to win.
What are you doing in family court for traffic court?
No, I'm comparing.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, I was totally shocked that this cop, even though he was allowed to wear his gun in there, I mean, he could have blown the judge away right in front of all of us, was treated just as badly as the rest of us. So if the courts are issuing these orders, if the courts are the ones that, the police have to go serve the warrants because they're getting it from the court, if they have to get permission from the court for this or that, the other, okay, just as easily as a red flag could be called on you or me, if a cop doesn't get a pass in family court, I'm going to say they might not get a pass if they get a red flag law. This cop was in there because he got a divorce. They're regular people just like us. They have problems. They've got bills. They've got kids. They've got things they want to do with their life. Just because they wear a uniform and carry a gun doesn't mean that they're Superman, even though the movies make them out to be that way. And sometimes they do live by a set of rules that we don't get to enjoy. They get some privileges that we don't get to enjoy. But that comes with the whole, they put up with danger that we don't have to deal with. But on the flip side of that, though, they're regular people with regular. So what would stop this guy's ex-wife, who's dragging him back into family court, from simply calling in a red flag law if those existed? And would the sheriff show up this is a local PD guy. This isn't a county sheriff. Would the county sheriff show up at the local PD's door and knock on the door and say, turn in the guns? They might. If the judge isn't going to give them a pass, I don't know that the sheriff's department would give them a pass too. So I think law enforcement needs to understand, hey, even though you're the one enforcing this, these laws can happen to you too. If you want to be treated unfairly, if you want to support these laws, understand you're not immune. Some of them might think they are, but I just don't think they are.
Yeah. Real quick, Blind Grilling out in the chat said, back to what we were talking about changing things, he said they have changed the value of the home over the years, so it will happen with the guns as well. Yeah, the education system at home, the values of home life has changed. So, yeah, they're changing the thing of the gun now. Gun is bad. That is what kids are being taught today, and it's not right, but that's just the way it is. And we have got to find a way to change the narrative. I really do. And the problem is, we got to change the narrative, but I don't have the answer to how. That's the problem.
One of the things, the things that stopped all those executive actions that Obama tried pushing, everybody hears about it. I mean, even if you're someone new to the scene, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm having trouble with this mute. If you're new to the scene, that whole swell, everybody talks about the swell in early 2013 or whatever, that scared them. Anybody that pushes back, it just takes all the people to get off the couch. I mean, if you're actually doing something, if you go out and you do talk to people in real life, we all talk to random people that have nothing to do with who we talk to about the Second Amendment and stuff. They have things that are dear to them. And you push it as your liberties and your freedoms more than just I just like having my revolver or whatever. If you frame it different, I mean that's the biggest thing. But also you got to call. When people are just focusing, the Democrats are pushing this through the House. Well, it's not just the Democrats. Anytime that somebody just throws up Republican or Democrat, you got to throw that out, and you got to just say, we, the people, have to stand up and do something. We have to make our voices loud. You got to call, and I don't care if you think it doesn't work. You call, and you get the little old lady in Washington at the switchboard, and she doesn't care what your name is. She just wants your comment. give them the comment. If you got to wait on there 15 minutes, yeah, I know it sucks during when they first open and at lunchtime, it's always super busy, but all you do it. There's no excuse for it. You just sitting down and writing a single little email, yes, that can be swept under the rug. Yes, that can be avoided. It can be deleted. But when there's, 30,000 or 100,000 or 200,000 emails with the same thing saying, stop doing what the hell you're doing, that does get noticed. And if everybody does that, and you don't just do it the one time that GOA puts something out, you take that, you do it the next day. Do it once a day. Does it really take that long? Most of our phones put the autofill anyway, so you don't even have to fill the stuff out. But you send it in. I wouldn't do it multiple times in one day because it might be, spam or something. But there's no excuse. I mean, even if you're bedridden and you use your straw to turn on the TV or whatever you got to do, you can still do this stuff. There is something you can do. I don't drive to rallies a lot because, well, they don't like me driving anymore. I have to sucker somebody else into doing it because otherwise I might, think I'm going to Columbus but end up in Harrisburg. So, whatever. That is besides the point. And I might be rough around the edges and crash and throw stuff out randomly, and I'm usually the nice positive one or whatever. But just get off your butt. And if you don't, then that's fine. Go back to crocheting or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
well, last night on Budget Show, I said I'm not going to use the same tagline that the NRA and the GOA use, and that is, this year's the most important year of the biggest fight we've ever had of our lives. It's like, wait a minute, I thought last year was. No, wait, the year before. No, wait, the year before. I know why they say that. They say that to stir people up. They have to stir people up because there's so many people that won't get off the couch, and you've got to use fear tactics. And as a person who's been involved, that insults me because they're insinuating that I'm one of those people that is sitting on the couch, and it drives me up a wall. I understand why it's there. But at a certain point, when every year is the most important year, the biggest fight of our lives, after a while, if somebody does this long enough, consistently, they're going to go, wait a minute. So I think even our gun rights organizations need to be careful. I know what they're trying to do, and their heart's in the right place. There's a lot of people, I think their hearts are in the right place, but I think they're looking at it so short term as opposed to looking at it long term, because this is a long term fight. If you're not, once you get into it, if you're not willing to stay with it until the day you die, then you're not going to be doing yourself or anybody else any favors. If you only want to do it for a few years and spend a lot of money and push really hard and think we're going to get one overwhelming piece of legislation passed that will end this once and for all, you're living in fantasy land. As much as I would like it, as much as I'd like the Supreme Court to go out there and say the Second Amendment is the law of the land, all gun laws are invalid, shall not be infringed, and that's it, and all the states and the federal government go, oh crap, they finally did it. The Supreme Court isn't going to do that. It's not that easy. And I understand people get tired. They get fed up. They get sick of hearing the same sermon. They get worn down. These antis can wear us down. They've got more resources than us. I did a video about taking a break. Take a break if you need to. Reset yourself. This is just like dealing with personal stress in your life or dealing with having, worked a lot of crazy hours for, 6 months or a year straight at your job or something. Take a vacation, take a break, just tone it down a little bit, maybe not watch as many videos, maybe you don't get as involved. Whatever it takes to just reset yourself so you come back refreshed, but make sure you come back. Don't be sitting on the couch so long taking a break that you just don't come back. And if that's what it takes, whether it be in the Second Amendment fight or just to deal with life, do it. Because you're no good to us. You're no good to yourself. You're no good to your family if you're all stressed out and a mess. If you end up having a stroke and dying, or if you end up in jail because you decided to make a poor choice on how you're going to represent our community, and you just embarrassed all of us by walking through Walmart with body armor and a damn AK in the low ready.
All right, real quick. I just want to go back.
It's a lively one.
Going back a few minutes. G-Webs he's saying, I think they have gone too far in their echo chambers. They're asking for more than anyone really wants. He's talking about, we're going to take your guns, Democrats. Mm-hmm. Even the antis know we aren't going to give them up, and they don't want a war. So I think they will lose hard in the elections, and then after that, they'll leave guns alone for a while.
Now, see, that's entirely plausible because remember what happened after AWB in '94. Well, those of you who were around and paying attention, there were a lot of Congress people that didn't get reelected because they supported the assault weapons ban. It was kind of like the community that really didn't exist at that point. I mean, it was, but it was few and far between. But they sort of woke up and goes, oh, wait, hold up. So, yeah, if they're doing this, they could hang themselves. I know they're trying to get votes, and it could just backfire.
There is a problem with that, though, just like the thing with New Zealand, where they go through and say, okay, you're going to give him up, you're going to go through these things, and, that whole changing perception with the youth. In '94, there wasn't, the internet like it is, where they can bombard you, and I'm sure movies have always been, kind of shady. So I would still be leery. I mean, I hope that's the case where they get all kicked out. But.
With what happened at the beginning of the assault weapons ban, a lot of that information came out through the NRA. You guys can vilify them all you want. They do good, they do bad. It is in their best interest to keep gun control alive and well because it lines their pockets. And people can say whatever they want to say. But before we had this social media where I could simply just send a group text to all you guys, that's what we had. And sometimes the information was slow to get out because you'd have to wait for it to come out in the American Rifleman. But still, that was one of the best ways to get information.
Hey, I enjoyed payphones. I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of which, with the whole let's have another revolution or let's have a civil war, I'm going to put it on the record here that all of us in this group don't have like some secret like group text and there's a code word like execute order 66. And we're all camoed up and ready to go. I don't know as many people that call for this. Exactly how are you going to unify every pro Second Amendment person that even agrees with you all at once? Because if you did this in stages, you'd get nowhere. I think we need to keep trying to use legislation to win this.
That's it. I mean, that's been my question. How is it all going to come together to do this? I don't see how. So what's going to happen is your little pockets of resistance are going to get squashed.
And they can go ahead and they can say these people were anarchists. These people were drug dealers. These people were crazy. These people were pedophiles. These people were whatever you want. And that's not to say that some of these groups aren't. Some of these groups that set up their compound and they're sovereign citizens and all this, they do have other issues. But you're going to have the one that's legit or ones that are legit that are going to get vilified, and it's going to be awful hard to compete, the conspiracy theorists versus the media. The media is going to win.
Well, that's why we're out here and we're talking. So the whole aspect of that has changed a lot because back in '94, '95, we had, news channels and radio, but now there are, 20,000 people that are, saying things and they reach, they're 10 people or they're 5 people. So it is a lot easier to send that kind of stuff. And, we probably just need an app, for Execute 42.
Yeah, the code is Go 42. I see it, but don't tell Squib. That's for Midnight Range. Unknown user, real quick. Let you all out there know there's a 17 HMR ammo recall by Winchester. Big Squib possibility with rounds lacking power. So you can Google 17 HMR recall for more details. So there you go. You're into 17.
I'll put a link out in the chat to an article from Winchester about it.
Okay. Yeah, Operation 42. That's what we're calling it. If you hear me say that, we all meet somewhere. I don't know where, but we all meet somewhere.
Meet at the Waffle House.
With the hot dog sandwiches.
At the Waffle House. What state is Midnight in? We all meet at his Waffle House.
Speaking of the state that Midnight is in, if anybody lives in the Pennsylvania area, the 24th and the 25th, there will be a rally held at the State House, a Second Amendment rally held at the State House, the 24th and the 25th. apparently the 24th is the more important day because that's when mothers who claim that they're demanding some type of action but really, don't give a crap about anything because they're paid to be there and they don't really give a crap about kids. But those people will be there and try to get the seats early. So
There's also the Columbia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what action I want.
Sorry.
We've gone silent here. Anyway,
Columbus has that one on the 14th as well in Ohio.
okay. I'm going to move the topic slightly to one that yesterday in the gun channels, what do you call it? Discord chat room that we go to in the mornings now.
Brown sauce.
We typed up a letter that I sent to. I haven't got no response yet. I sent a copy to Alan. What's his name for the Second Amendment Foundation? Alan.
Gottlieb.
What? What the hell is the guy's name? In charge of
Alan Gottlieb.
Yeah, Gottlieb. Yeah, I sent a letter to him, and I sent a copy to Mark Walters on Armed American Radio, asking what is the point of the Gun Rights Policy Conference. I mean, to me, it sounds like it's just a bunch of people. I mean, like this year, they have. I was listening to actually Armed American Radio last night. They've already got over 1,000 registrations for this thing. But it seems to me people are going for the wrong. It seems to me, I mean, there's no politicians going. There's nobody there that actually can change the laws. It sounds like just a big corporate conference of telling us what our plans are for the next year, and this is what we're looking to do. And if, like me, who's a nobody, go have my picture taken with some big superstar that's there.
It's to get everybody focused in one direction. I mean, it's more than just a bunch of. No, because there's a lot of people that like as the famous quote is, you can watch videos on your phone, right? From last year. There's a lot of people that don't deal with internet. They don't do that. Some do, old school magazines. There's a lot of different stuff, and there's a lot of great people with great ideas and great supporters that go to that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of information, just like, Squid was saying, where you can recharge your batteries. You go and you hang out with people that have been doing it for the long haul and have ideas and have, a reach that, one single person doesn't have. I mean, I've never been, there's a lot of people that have gone, but I've listened for the last year or two, to the conferences and stuff, but there's a lot more than just that. And it's not a shot show. It's not for spectators to go and just sit and watch. I mean, I guess there could be people like that, but it's more to actually get people up and to do something. They do have the thing, and there were some hiccups or whatever, but hopefully they can work that out where they can actually tie the new media that goes the day prior to actually tie those two groups together, the guys that are actually putting forth all the good effort and have some kind of collaboration between the media and the people that are actually doing the stuff, and actually get something productive and focused for the following year. Because there are a lot of campfires out here, and there's a lot of chefs and a lot of chiefs and stuff, but unless everybody's walking the same direction, it's kind of just haphazard. It's easy to be a negative person and throw out negativities because you don't have to know anything. To know something and to be positive about something and actually have the stuff to back it up. That's a lot bigger than the antis. They don't have to have that. All I have to do is say, hey, scream this, say no guns bad. They don't have to know anything. They don't have to know that you have to have bullets in that magazine because the magazine isn't going to do anything by itself. You know, a lot of them, they don't care. They don't know that. They just see what they see, and they can follow that. We don't want to be that way on our side. We want to actually know the information, and if you want to know information, you got to go to the sources. And I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. Maybe.
G-Web's, if you go check out G-Web's stuff, Rick, he's been talking about, because I've asked him a couple times exactly that exact question, what is it about? And he's done a pretty good job of explaining, kind of like what Patriot was saying there, it's a big collaboration. It's important to get these people together and get an idea of where we are and where we're going next year. So if check out G-Web's, he's got a lot of good information on it the past couple weeks.
And that's the other thing with that. Say you're somebody that has this perfect idea and this great thing that could change hearts and minds and all that other stuff. If all you're doing is writing in a periodical, a small little excerpt on the 56th page or the 42nd page, what is that really going to do? But if you can go to a conference like this and actually get hooked up with somebody that has more outreach, that doesn't really have a direction or whatever, and can line you up and say, hey, you know how it is easy. You can just make a video and everybody watches stuff on their phones. 200 years ago, they didn't think that you could just bang on some glass and some little plastic and this stuff and talk to everybody in the country. So,
yeah, but see what we're saying is, why isn't law enforcement, congressmen, senators, governors, leaders, why
that's a distraction
go to this conference?
Because this is for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
If the government's down in Washington D.C. every day of the week talking about what they're going to do about our guns and our rights and stuff like that, these people are the ones that are saying no, that's bullcrap. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's and having them there would be a distraction, because most of the politicians that would show up would just want that picture with you. Would just want to show, hey, look, I'm here and I'm talking back to these guys. That's all it would be, is a distraction. Police officers, if you guys want to show up there, I'm sure there's a lot of police officers that do, because it's not going as a police officer or a department or a military branch or something. It's going as individuals and Americans that are free and like liberty.
Yeah.
So
I will respectfully agree to disagree with you on this. I think personally, I think it's a waste of time. Where we could be using the money spent on this for getting more stuff out there.
Getting what stuff out there? If you don't have a conference to talk about what it is, what are you going to get out there? This is kind of to get all the messages in line. Say, hey, this is really important. I know you're way over in Idaho, but Alabama's having this issue, and it might be coming to you next. There's a lot of I'm sorry. My desktop still hasn't caught up, so I'll save that for Wednesday.
All right. Patriot in the Dark just said, turn to page 40, the 42nd page.
Yeah. Did you see that?
We'll see you all at the Waffle House. It's on.
I was wondering who was going to catch that, but
yeah, it's on. We're going. I got my new holster. Came in today, actually. So I'm trying to break it in. It's a bit stiff, but it's a 1791.
Is that OWB?
Outside the waistband, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to
block it.
It goes in. But it's brand new. So I'm just playing with it here, trying to break it in.
Have you wrapped it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I did. That's what I did this morning. It wouldn't even go in this morning, but it goes in there now. I mean, I don't want it to fall out, but I want it to be able to pull out without snagging. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's a nice thick holster. I like it. So Oh, did you get my email the other day, by the way?
Yes, and
Okay.
I was in the middle of talking with Squib when I got distracted this afternoon. So
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Anyway, you got anything else you want to talk about? Is this some of the stuff you wanted to get into, Patriot?
yeah, it still hasn't came up, and I'm just going to throw this desktop out. I mean, who uses desktops anymore? Jeez.
I mean, I
Um,
don't. I
for-
don't. I use a laptop.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I wanted to obviously bring up the stuff with New Zealand and kind of their process and how that is going to affect, with having children and grandkids and stuff. Because yes, that we're not that voting mass that we used to be because obviously there's new generations coming up. But if they're picking up stuff from school and from they don't even have clubs anymore, but I'm sure that some of them do, scouts and whatever. But, if they're not picking up these things, from parents, if you got nieces and nephews that have, parents that work all the time and they don't do these outdoor things, there's a lot of things that we can do, to kind of put a buffer in between so that, if they do throw up, oh, we're going to go through and we're going to set up this kind of registry or we're going to do this, we got to get that force that stands up and makes them take notice. And that's the kind of the biggest thing. And also call out people that you befriend and you think are positive and are aligned. Just watch yourself because a lot of them can say one thing and talk out the side of their neck, and then the next day be totally different. So, I mean, I know we all know them kind of people that will turn on us, and especially if it's not something that is a priority to them, and they think it's just everybody will be safer.
You mean like the person who has guns, say they're pro freedom, pro Second Amendment, they don't just have guns for hunting, but they believe that we should have a registration. Those people?
The registration, the red flag laws, that big tub of jelly that told me that he was getting his lever action fixed, and he says nobody needs one of them 30-round clips. They're standing there at Williams, and if you're out there listening, I spit in your eye.
Yeah, the only reason I bring it up is apparently I've never had the conversation with anybody, or I've only done it once and gave up. Here's the thing: when you're trying to talk to somebody on the other side, you've got a big hurdle to go over to, or somebody who's air quotes on the fence. But when you talk to somebody on our side who still thinks that some of this stuff is okay, believe it or not, I used to be for gun control. I was pro Second Amendment, pro freedom, pro firearms, but I also was for gun control. It's like, how can you be both? You can be both. When you're talking to somebody like that, it's in some ways it's more difficult because if you do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, you've turned a person who would normally vote with us against us, as opposed to somebody who's already against us, and the damage is already done. You're just hoping to give them something else to think about. And maybe one day they'll change their mind. Well, you may change somebody's mind for them. So sometimes it's a little bit daunting talking to somebody who says, yeah, I believe in the Second Amendment, and no, I've got guns for more than hunting. I'm no FUD. But yeah, what do you need one of them semi-autos for? Them's just for killing people, son. Yeah, I've had those conversations too. I know what you're talking about.
Unknown users saying, dang, Patriot is getting militant.
I just there's things that it takes a lot to get me riled up because I'm one of those guys that you gotta really drag stuff out and really push some things because I have a real slow burning fuse, but it does turn pretty heated quick if it is
Yeah.
ignorance and stupidity, especially if it's somebody that says that yes, I'm waving the 2A flag and I'm right here, but hey, that's not so bad. Yeah.
Patriot says I'm spitting in somebody's eye. I'm spitting in their eye too.
Yeah.
Good. You just tell me where they're at.
Yeah. Real quick, since we're at the top of the hour, I'm not quitting yet, unless you guys want to, but my quiz from last week. I am disappointed. I had 2 entries. That's it. So there's a 50% chance you 2 people who entered are going to win. You know? And the question was in the Tom Selleck movie, Last Stand at Saber River, he played a character called Paul Cable, and I asked what was his sidearm and what was his rifle. His sidearm was a Colt 1860 Army with a Richardson conversion to shoot metallic cartridges, and his rifle was a Henry 4440, and it had custom engraving on the receiver. That was the correct answer. And the winner, where's my random picker for the 2 people? Let me do it now. And the winner.
Picture in the dark or unknown user.
No, I didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it.
With 2 people, you could just do eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Good, but I'll let the picker do it if I don't get what you call it. He hasn't entered in a while, and he's won. That's why he ain't gonna. John Brown Productions is the winner.
Well, congratulations. Who is the other guy or girl?
Well, actually, it was the winner from last week. Was the other person? Was Raphael was the other entry?
Okay, so I'll send Raphael something because that's kind of silly. Only 2 people. Almost as bad as the 1 person entering mine. So
yes, I know. I know.
But lucky you.
Yeah. So John Brown Production. Okay, and for this week's quiz, because I'm back on weekly now. Also, I found a patch. So I've only got 1 patch in this, but I think there's a pin in here to put on your lapel, I think. Yeah, there it is. I got a pin to put on your lapel. I got a bunch of stickers here. There's mine stickers in here somewhere. There it is. There's my sticker. And it's an every second matters patch. That's my last patch. So if anybody's got anything they want to send my way, give away as prizes, feel free. I will promote you. I'll promote your YouTube channel if you want me to. So from now until I either buy some or get some sent to me, I will some patches and stuff, some swag. So I got a few. I got enough stickers for a few more weeks. Let's put it that way. But patches are slim to none. So anyway, the question the question for this week's write-in quiz. You email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. In the show Justified, Season 3, Episode 12. So I'm making it real easy for you. Right? The person, I think it's pronounced Arlo Givens, it's the actor Raymond Barry, pulls a revolver on Ava. The name of the episode is Coalition. So it's Justified, Season 3, Episode 12. I want to know what the revolver was that Arlo Givens pulled on Ava. Email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. There we go. Oh, Muscle Dog Mafia. I've openly challenged Beto O'Rourke to buy my rifle.
Yes.
That he has the backbone to stand by his words.
And I shared that.
It's time to stop debating gun grabbers and call their bluff.
And that if you haven't watched that, you got to go watch it and share it. I shared it. I loved it. It was great. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you go watch it.
Well, you put a video out?
Yeah, that's what he said. He put out an open invitation.
Okay, I haven't watched
he put it out
yet.
today, so make sure you check it out. It's
Okay.
It's a good one. I liked it.
All right. If everybody's got the link for it, drop it in the chat there. So, you notice I made you a mod there, Patrick. So, well, there we go. So I've got your address, I believe, John Brown. Your mailing address for me to send your package to you. So, all right, carrying on. What good news have we got to talk about? Silence. Listen to it.
Actually, good news that G Webs made a good amount this week on gear websites. So anybody that bought stuff, that was great. And if anybody, the two people that won the laser systems, congratulations. Go check that out. Or I don't know if that video is up. I think it got, but that was really good. That's that stepping up stuff.
Okay.
And I got a couple bayonets out of the deal.
Oh, yeah? Color bayonets. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a hell of a collection of them. I believe. Oh, he did have.
Let's just, as he put it, he's not going to run out.
Yeah. You had plenty of doubles and triples. Yeah. So, all right. So, anything new in the gun laws there in New York there, Blind Shooter?
Not really. Governor Dipshit is still trying to work on the whole 20 rounds in 4 month thing.
Oh, yeah? You think it'll pass?
It might, because we have a lot of stupid people here in New York State, so. And like Patriot and Scorb are getting at, there's a lot of people that are keyboard commandos, but other than myself and a few guys at the range that I know of, nobody's really stepping up and upping us.
Yeah. I know what you mean. You know, I guess I fall into a, what's the word I'm looking for? A relaxed state, because it's so gun friendly here, especially in this part of Indiana that I'm in.
Well, that's one thing that I'd throw in there is, we talk about the rallies, the Capitol rally. That thing was enormous here in Michigan. It was the first one I've ever been to, but it was enormous, right? But if you do live, somewhere in a small town, whatever, it doesn't take anything to talk to your gun shop, your gun range, and say, hey, can I promote some kind of thing where we have a cookout, and for donations we get something together. You could do it just in your area. My gun shop, they're doing some $1,000 best shooter match tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of people there. If you show up and you had flyers or some kind of thing that the passerby might pick up and actually read, that's not digital and on their phone, might do something. So you could do things, that's it.
All right. Sorry, I just had as you heard, I just got an email, and that was an entry to the question I just asked, and somebody's already entered it and got the answer right. One of the dedicated ones. That just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah. So, anything else going on? I'm having a hard decision. Decide what to have for dinner tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I bet you $5 it's not macaroni and cheese.
Oh God, it's not. Oh, don't start me on that again. I lost a few subs over that.
You can always make a turkey and mayonnaise sandwich.
I think I'm gonna order pizza.
I think actually I'm leaning toward. Actually, I'm leaning towards some BLTs. See I got it down to two. I'm either gonna have BLTs or grilled cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
BLTs are good except for that lettuce stuff.
he's banning anybody that says the word.
Why don't you have a BLT grilled cheese?
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, throw the bacon right up in there.
Just bake your sandwiches in half, like your one half. Melt the cheese on one side, and then put the bacon on and let it melt down in there. And when you're done cooking the sandwich, put the disgusting tomato on top of it, and then put some lettuce on it.
Midnight Rain says add a little mayo and mac and cheese really makes it creamy.
So,
take his wrench away real quick, Rich.
How did he end up with a wrench? Anyway, I must have liked him at one time.
I made country fried steak yesterday.
You made what?
Country fried or chicken fried steak. I don't know. It's some thin with the breading and stuff on it.
Okay. Yes, I know.
It's one of those diner things. Waffle House.
Yeah.
I don't think
Rain says a Texas grilled cheese has tomato and bacon on it.
So y'all are making me hungry, and I got to eat healthy. This sucks.
I got to eat healthy, but look at me. It's really working.
I can't. We can't look at you. Some of us are blind.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky. I take up the whole screen. I got a doctor's appointment this coming. What's today? The 14th. Tuesday. I got a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. I got to go for my. Normally I have to go every 3 months. Get my blood sugar, my test for the A1C because of diabetes and stuff.
You get to
I'm wearing a new back brace, by the way, guys. It's hell, I'm a lot more comfortable
Does it last longer as far as
yeah,
your level?
This one is got those little Velcro, so like I can do them and pull them tighter during the day when it loosens up. Which I like, but it's making me stand up straighter because it's got so bad where it's bad for your back to lean forward, but it's less pain leaning forward. It's a double-edged sword. I'm standing up straighter with this now, but it hurts to walk a little. But that's only because I haven't been in that position for such a long time, But I like it. I'm hoping it's going to be good for me standing on the. I seem to be able to stand long. I've been messing around. I've only had it 2 days, but like around the house here, I've been able to stand longer and stuff. So like if I go down the range shooting, I should be able to stand longer and stuff. So I'm hoping it's going to work out.
Now, when you go to the doctor, do you plan on bringing the 380 and letting the doctor see it?
I was going to bring that up with your new holster.
It will be, the 380 will be, normally, as I said, I take my carry gun with me everywhere. But it will be, I'll have it locked up in the safe under my seat for the only reason, if I was going into the hospital, the only reason I do that is in case he wants me to drop my pants and go cough. I don't want the gun there. You know what I'm saying? Even though he doesn't mind guns, he's pro 2A. I wouldn't say he's pro 2A. He's pro gun. He has no problem with it. He signed all my paperwork I've ever needed to do with guns and stuff. But I don't know about his nurses and stuff. And I said I don't want to have to pull the gun out and put it on the side if they want me to drop my pants for any reason, give me a shot in the ass, or or tickle my balls and say cough.
But with that gold trigger, you might get a date out of the deal.
True.
The nurses,
True.
they see that gold.
I did notice last time I was there, he does have a underneath where they on the sliding automatic doors when you walk in. He's got all the painted or the printed times that the surgery is open. Right at the very bottom, it's got no firearms allowed. But as I said, in the state of Indiana, it holds no water. They can ask me to leave. So, but as I said, I won't be having it on me anyway. So, only because I said that's the only reason, because I'm actually going in for an appointment. I don't know what they will want to check on me, because I got bad back, bad hip, and bad knees. So, you know what I'm saying?
With your new brace, have you driven like a long distance at all? I mean, going shopping or anything where you've been in the vehicle? Does that affect anything with that, or is that?
Well, the first thing I've driven is down to Deb's Diner for breakfast yesterday, and back again. It's only 4 miles. Okay.
I just didn't know if those were.
It worked out great. It felt good. It didn't interfere with my driving at all. But it's definitely different. I mean, it goes up further up my back than anything else I've ever had. So, I mean, I don't know. Is plastic the right word? It's it's hard plastic or Kydex, whatever you want to call it, plate in the back of it. That's where the stiffness comes from. Yeah, Midnight Rain says, I like how Rick says shooting. Yes. I know. I see that the problem with that, I think the problem is I'm a mixed up person, i.e., being American but living in England. My accent got totally screwed. I think. I mean, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So,
sounds fine to me, buddy.
Very quiet. I've been rambling on here absolutely about nothing. Just telling you what's going on. So we might as well start winding this down. I definitely do like that holster, though. That's nice.
What color did you get?
Black.
The black? Okay.
Solid black. I mean, I got it from
the black or the stealth? Is it glossy or
no,
like a matte
flat.
finish?
It's flat. It's flat black.
Okay, so that's a stealth, I think.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So when you see the gold grip safety sitting there, it looks sweet. Yes. Okay, so let's start winding this up. Squib, any plugs, shout outs, or anything else you got to talk about? You there, Squib?
I'm guessing he fell asleep.
He was in a vehicle, so he might be in a shopping center.
Yeah, he did unmute, but he's muted back up again. Oh, unknown user said more likely insurance companies make them post that sign there. Could be. Oh, unknown user said, but we don't get a range video of you firing that new pimp gun, gangsta style. I'm unsubbing. Yeah, I'll do one next time I go. Oh, Tom, I got some new targets. I got two 5-foot shepherd's hooks with 3 legs. Where when I stick them in the ground, it's firmer than the ones with just 2. And I got 6-inch steel gongs to go on there. So that's what I'll use when I do my little video. So
Nice.
yes, hopefully I'll go down. Mind you, I got to get to the gun store and buy another box of ammo. So before I do that, so I'm more likely to go down there either Monday or Tuesday. So just when you know. All right, Squib, are you with us yet? No, we'll move on to the next person, I guess. We'll come back to him. Oh, Squib. He's unmuted. We can't hear you. No. All right, we're going to blind shooter. Any shout outs or plugs or anything, blind shooter? Or anything you want to talk about?
And not this week, Rick. I always appreciate you inviting me to the show. I have a great time doing it.
I appreciate you coming. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes we just walk on like I've been doing for the last 20 minutes. You know? So
Hey, it
we
helps
don't
pass
really
the day.
we've lost Tony. I think Tony's doing a lot of. He goes over to his daughter's house at the weekends now, so he's not around like he used to be. So just thought I'd throw that out there. It's not that he's quit us. He just other things have taken over. You know what I'm saying? Happens to the best of us. All right. That's who we got left. Kingpin. Any shout outs, plugs, or anything?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rick. It's always a good time. Make sure everybody go check out Bloke's giveaway. That's still going on. And stay tuned because it gets more and more prizes get added every time. So definitely go check that out. And it's for a super good cause. Thanks for having me, Rick.
No problem. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. And Squib's joined us. You back, Squib? There he is.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, well, I've been yelling into the phone, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's a gun chamber thing.
Could be, but we didn't hear a word of anything.
Yeah, well,
We just lost it again. I didn't do it. That wasn't me. Sorry.
You sure Night Strike it sitting in the corner pushing button?
It could be. So, all right. So we're going to you, the one and only Patriot in the Dark. Any shout outs or plugs? Or anything else you want to talk about?
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate this. I try to bring up good stuff and keep things positive. Definitely check out Bloke's giveaway. Just for the donation part. I mean, obviously do the giveaway if you want, but that is really important. Family is kids, all that kind of stuff that hits home really, really big. I don't know, not really bad, but really good, I guess. I don't know. Everybody gets in a rut, so just take a second and just kind of look in at your priorities. Look at people around you and kind of take assessment of things, because we all have to do that once in a while, shift our priorities and stuff like that. But just, I don't know, take a good look at, people to the left and right and make sure that you're walking in the same direction. So, but I do appreciate the invite always. And I will be sending you some stuff. So,
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh,
yes,
a lot of stuff too. A lot of the negativity is fear-based. Fear of what might happen. I mean, here's one that I learned. It's fear, false evidence appearing real. How about that one? So that's basically, that's where a lot of this comes from. It's this false evidence we're keep being fed all the time, and it's appearing real, to my mind anyway. But as I've said before, that's the problem. is I'm going inside my head unsupervised. Dangerous place to be, you know. So, all right, I think we lost Squid for good. I think he's screaming into his phone more like somebody red flagged him, you know, and he hasn't come back. They're taking his phone away from him.
He was driving, so.
No, it looked like he was standing there in the sunshine.
Oh, maybe he's
The camera came on the last time he was there.
maybe he's getting patted down.
It could be. It could be. So I want to say thank you all for being here, everybody. I will be here Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for Shooting with Disabilities. You know, so if you got any topics you want brought up for that, just email them to me, and I will add them to the list. It's not a big list, but I do have a list now. So I will see you all then. I want to say good afternoon, and thank you for stopping by on your busy Saturdays to listen to me waffle on for an hour and a half. Thank you all very much.
Never for the dark.
Vote Trump 2020.
If